Thanks.
It's on.
It's on.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
That was a trick. You would notice it. So I want to talk about my experience last 5 years helping my employer while technology was literally reinventing all aspects of its operation. To the point that at some point we wonder if IG is a more financial services or a technology platform or business. So my name is Silatani. I'm technical manager at IG, working with performance and reliability engineering team. We shortened it to PREC. So that's my Twitter handle and email. I'm always interested to talk about operations, human aspects or human factor in operations, and DevOps. So please feel free to email me. Sorry about the photo. I was looking for a pro photo with a tie. Seems like this is the only one I have. So for the next presentation, I'll do a better job on that. I could also title this talk Patterns to Scale Performance, Reliability and Productivity. I'm not going to talk about theories or what I think it would work. I'm going to talk about real life experience, things that we try and we see working in action. We went through a lot of iteration of failures and disappointment, but we figured out a number of good patterns that worked out for us. Given you hear a bunch of clever people, let's start with a short mathematical quiz. What is in common between these two numbers, 769 and 2083? Don't worry if you can't figure it out straight away. I'll come back to it. But what is important, please do remember to ask me at the end of the presentation so I can tell you what is in common between them. So, whenever I talk about my job and financial services to my ex-colleagues or family, the first reaction I get, financial services, so what? Bunch of snobs that probably unjustifiably are paid very high. And to some extent, that's true, but there's more to it as well. One thing that is kind of different in financial services is there's a lot of money involved. And most of that money is not your money, it's people's money. And you can imagine that wherever there is a lot of money involved, even in very close relationship or friendships, things start to look a bit different. The second one is stakes are high. So if there is a serious production incident, long outage or miscalculations in profit and loss, generally what happens in post-mortem meetings is the first question is, who are we firing today? Before even getting into what went wrong. Because fines are huge, regulators are going to be at your back trying to find you. I have been unfortunate enough to be in a couple of meetings where my boss's boss just opened it, who are we firing? And he was just staring at me. Didn't really feel comfortable there. And finally, regulators. Especially if you are operating internationally, like us, you have to satisfy more than one of them. In the UK, we have FCA. In Singapore, there is MAS, and then Australia, you have ACRC, and States, you have SEC. Unfortunately, regulators are very smart people, but they use that smartness in a very bureaucratic way, which makes things very difficult. So what is IG about? IG is about 41 years old now. We're number one provider of financial spread betting. We are a FTSE 250 company. What makes puts us ahead of our competitors? First is the range of financial markets that we offer, but most importantly is our platform and availability of our platform or reach of it. So it's available on all devices, web, Android, iOS. Even we do support BlackBerry, where we only have one client. But above all this, what makes a big difference is reliability and performance of this platform. That plays a big role. Our business model is not very difficult, frankly. So it's a big box, IG. We have all our mathematics and algorithms and access to the prices, and there is you as a client. You can use one of our devices, Then you have a view on a market, let's say FTSE or BP or waterfront. You think it's either going to increase in value or decrease. If you think it's going to increase, you will buy to sell later. If you think that it's going to decrease in value, you sell to buy back later. So you place an order, then it hits a data center, we do our super intelligent mathematical processing and calculation, and then either we reject or accept your order. There are two very important points here. Number one is you have to be available whenever you want to trade. And often happens that most of the people want to trade at the same time when there is a major market event is announced. I don't know, United States payroll, or in the UK interest rate, or a war breaks out somewhere, or some Nazi terrorist blows up some, I don't know, city in Europe or somewhere else. So we need to satisfy that. The other important point here is, from the moment you click this button to the time you book your order, every millisecond, practically IG can lose money. So the sooner we book the order, the better for us. Otherwise, it can be very expensive. This is how our platform looks like. It's our flagship product for now, and really main reason why we have a market share that we have. So, what is behind this complex yet easy to use platform? There are 1,600 individual processes in production that are running together and communicating to offer this platform and book trades. In average, we have 700 plus changes going to production every day. Most of them go in the batches, but if you kind of divide it by number of days, you come up to that figure. 60 plus development teams, 300 developers across 3 different time zones, which makes things a lot more complex. For those of you who have experience of working with offshore team, probably can resonate what I'm talking about. So this is 10,000 feet view of our platform. In HDMI connection, it looks a lot better, but I hope you can see something. What matters here, there are a lot of circles, green circles, and links between them, and each of them represents a cluster between 3 to 30 individual processes, be it Tomcat, standalone JVM, or C processes. Now all these have to work together to let people simply to trade. Now behind this complexity and that huge engineering team, or relatively big engineering team, there's a very disappointing fact. We were told some time back that if you're best at our job in terms of engineering and our platform works best, we should be invisible to our clients. It took me some time to get my head around this. I do a good job to be visible, not to be invisible. But the way to look at it is what our clients are interested in, not to use our platform. They're interested in trading. So the less is between them and trading, the better. And another analogy could be, it's a summer, imagine a nice hot summer day, you're somewhere in the hard park, lying down, and then you see ice cream caravan or van, and you fancy an ice cream. So you walk there, talk to the ice cream man, and get an ice cream. In that interaction, what you're interested in is the ice cream. Everything else is the overhead, talking to the guy making a payment. So that's the same concept here. Now, think about a big engineering team, the complexity of the architecture that we have, a number of changes going on. Wouldn't it be really awesome if operations team had nothing to worry about? If we were just from time to time getting a text from one responsible engineering or dev team, hey guys, we're doing a deployment, we are all on top of it, don't worry, sleep tight, the alerts are taking care of it, we know our latencies. That would be really good. But unfortunately, reality was something else. It more looked like this truck. And my team, Fred, was this truck that all people were sitting on top of it. So we were practically crushed on the number of engineers coding code, the amount of changes going out, and production alerts. And we all knew that it's just a matter of question of time. It can't last for very long. So we tried to understand what got us to this place at first. The topmost reason came down to the mentality of senior management at the time. I want to see it. So they were thinking that highly paid people should cut code, not support. We can hire people with lesser salary to do operation and support. Cutting code equals productivity, new features. Support is overhead. Also, IG throughout the years, through acquisitions, we inherited a number of different development teams and offices, and each of them, they came with their own practices and way of developing software. So we ended up at one point with having 5 best way of creating and managing and operating software in one company. Still, I can't get my head around that. Beyond that, were regulators who very nicely pushed away developers from production environment with rules like segregation of duties, where devs can't get anywhere close to production. And of course, they enjoyed it. And above all, number of alerts and incidents and production issues that we were getting. So it wasn't really looking good. We were at the risk of burnout, everyone very stressed. And we knew that it's going to all break very badly. So we had to do something about it. To put it in a context, so that goes towards end of 2012. So it was a 2013 New Year dinner. We got around the table, and our resolution was, we're going to solve this problem this year. And we came up with an idea. First week of Jan, went back to the dev teams. Hey guys, you code code, you're responsible for it. You need to support it in production. So I went out, bought a BlackBerry for every team, and spoke to their team leads, hours to convince them this is important that you guys do it, and really forced it through. But reality wasn't really what I was expecting. It didn't work out at all. It caused a lot of frustration for dev teams and for us. It caused actually more problems. People were not sure whose responsibilities were, so things were falling between cracks. Engineering teams, they couldn't do what they wanted to do, so they didn't do it at all because they couldn't do operations easily. Got to the point that senior management were very concerned about it and kind of warned us or told us, oh, you guys need to fix this. If you need to hire more people, we're going to hire a bunch more, like what we have done with QA, like open a whole new office in Bangalore and 100 people there to run through scripts. Why I knew that's not going to scale. So, next year, New Year's party again. We got around the table. This year we've got to do a better job. And we had a different idea. So, first week again, we went back with the dev teams with a lot of resolution and asked them, hey guys, what the hell is wrong with you? Which part of you code and you have to support it you don't understand? And response was amazing, as if they were waiting for my question. I started to get flurry of emails, messages, some verbal abuses, wiki pages with all the reasons that why they can't do it. I was too delicate to go through all those reasons at the time, so I chucked all of them into a word analysis tool and got this word cloud at the end. And sat down in a room, stared at it for nearly an hour, and then all of a sudden started to see something very interesting. I noticed that there are a lot of questions there about hows. How do I deploy? I don't know how to do it. I don't have permission. Where is my app running? That made us think that maybe they genuinely are trying to care about the reliability of their applications, but they can't. maybe it's not easy for them to do it. Maybe we're not missing a supporting ecosystem. You can't expect in an ecosystem like this to have a plant and shout at it, hey, grow, grow, grow. It's not going to grow. It's not good enough. It's not supporting that. So the approach of putting gun on people's head and asking them, you got to go do DevOps, you got to support your application, did not work for good reasons, because they couldn't. So we had to create a supporting ecosystem, an ecosystem that would make it easier for people to do the right thing, that would make it organically, an organic approach to care about reliability and performance. So our plan was make ops accessible to everyone. Operation as a self-service. Very conveniently, we have this line right in the middle. It's like a structure. So we put together a very simple page, a list of all services running and where are they located, because that was the most common question. But more importantly, we had that big, fat, maybe not so fat question, feedback button here, and happy and sad faces. So people could write what they don't like about operations and give us a feedback. We took those comments and then adopted an approach where and supported it with investment. Supported our investment with data, so that we invest our limited time on what matters. Here you see the list of features that we put out, and the number of times that it was used, and then to make it more tangible, we estimated number of minutes and hours saved, so we could see what is really used and what is not. So the requests that were not really didn't have a good takeoff, we would just drop it. We call this pain-driven development. So that's what it looked like at the end. I don't know if you can see it from the back, but basically it's a simple page. You search for your application or your service, you get all the details. Who's the technical owner, who's supporting it, what happened to it last 6 hours, what version is running where, and where you can download the SCM location, the source code, and some of the more kind of specific details about the application, production runtime configuration. If you wanted to access the log files directly, you could do it without needing to craft a Splunk query or AppDynamics dashboard for APM, getting stats for performance monitoring or live profiling, doing a deployment, and a bunch of other things. We also made it opt-in, not forced-in. So people, if they wanted, they could use it. If not, all good. But people who wanted to use this platform, they had to honor a simple contract. Number one, no hard dependency on startup. So apps should be able to shut down on a startup at any given point. No need to choreography and plan the startup, so you need to have 5 other apps up and running before that. A simple HTTP endpoint where we could call and get the version of the app that is running, and also as a confirmation that it's running okay. And finally, taking ownership of the application. So if there was any technical question, the pull request could be approved, or anything else, people can go. Okay. So at the end, it looked like something like this. We spent 2014 on developing that tool. We called it Productivity Dashboard at the time. And it was only in 2015 where we started to get some tangible outcome from a number of development teams, mainly our innovators and early adopters. Very interesting set of outcomes. So we noticed that there was a less dependency on our team. We had less items in our queue to do, and less context switching for dev teams because they could do things that they wanted and they were interested in. Less queue in the system. Dev teams who were using the system, they felt more trusted and empowered because they could even deploy to production, and that meant those teams started to take responsibility as well. More deploys, which means quicker bug fixes and quicker troubleshooting because they had the data that they needed. After all, I think there was a very important lesson for our department there, and that was productivity is not equal to cutting code necessarily. Teams that were involved in operation of their application as well, they had more features released, and they felt bonus outcome as well. We noticed that with those teams, they started to be more aware of reliability and performance of application in the production. They started to get more involved in operations of their app. Practically, operations started to find its way into the devs' daily routine. That was really fantastic news. Nirvana. It was a very good start for us. But we couldn't explain it, so we went back to this word cloud and stared at it again for an hour or so. Now this time around, we could see things that we didn't see the first time. We could spot some links. And we also spot that I forget right in the top, which we really couldn't explain it in the beginning. So there are questions like, how do I deploy? I don't know how to do it. And then there's I forget. There's a direct link between them. And that is attention span. I've taken this from Wikipedia. Attention span is the amount of concentrated time one can spend on a task without becoming distracted. Most educators, such as psychologists, agree that the ability to focus attention on a task is crucial for achievement of one's goal. So how this is related? Prior to that productivity dashboard, simple deployments would have taken hours. A request, approval, comes to my team. We then queue it, and then we do it. The deployment and email back, hey guys, deployment happened. That went far beyond their attention span. The focus was lost already. Just practically showing what happened. So no wonder they would forget what they wanted to do. They were doing something else. And that left dealing with aftermath of deployment to us. Whereas, what that dashboard led us to do is reduce that time to a matter of minutes, which was within their attention span. So the continuity was there. They do the deployment and then follow up and see what happens in production. When I think what we really did through that experience wasn't really much. All we did, we made it easier for devs and engineers to operate their apps. That's all. That's all we did. We created a supporting ecosystem for them, which let operations and being aware of reliability happen organically with the teams. There was also a very important lesson for us as well throughout that, and that was the language that we used. We could find a lot more common ground with the engineering team when we talked about reliability, performance, and productivity, as opposed to mentioning DevOps. That didn't really resonate with them. But with reliability and performance and productivity, we all were looking for the same objectives. They were on board with it. So that was really foundation for our future steps. We built trust between us and dev teams. We were now on their good book, and they were on our good books. Reduce the pain for them, they helped us and reduce number of incidents for us. So all good. But there was a bigger problem. We just had our innovators and all early adopters on board. There were still offshore offices and rest of, or you could say, late adopters that needed to come on board. We had to expand our reach to those teams as well. And that is a topic of my next presentation. I had to cut this short because of the time limit, but if you enjoyed it and you liked it, you can put it back to Mark, and I'm more than happy to come back. And that is about who should care about reliability. Thanks.
Excellent, thanks Ahmed. Maybe you've got some questions for Ahmed.
Is your tool open source?
Sorry?
Is the tool open source?
No, but we're thinking to do it.
Okay, and the numbers?
Sorry?
And the numbers? Similar.
Okay, I'll come back to that, but I'm glad you asked it.
Yeah, I just wondered, one of the most effective ways of increasing cooperation between ops and devs has been to cross-pollinate teams and have them doing each jobs. Was that something ever tried in IT?
No, because simply we couldn't. The ratio of dev teams to operations was just wouldn't let us. So we had office of 300 developers, and out of those we were a team of 6. So with 60 teams, practically not possible. Oh, sorry. Okay, shall I repeat?
No, no, it's fine, thank you.
Yes.
I noticed in your word cloud there you had my job is done when I commit. Did you not get anything holding out on that? What happens there?
Sorry?
On the word cloud,
Yeah,
you had so at the top there.
Sure,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
On the word cloud
Yeah.
at the top, you had, my job is done when I commit.
Did I? Yeah,
That
yes,
was
it
one of
was.
the comments.
Yes,
Did
yes.
anyone hold out on that, or did everybody come over to your way of thinking?
Well, most of them, I should run that again. But what I can tell you from experience, so we started to run similar sessions that we talked about why operations is important, and also sessions for new joiners. And I could see as time went on, there was one question that I was asking every time in every single session. Guys, when do you think your job is done? And that, by time, started to change. From when I come in, to when it's signed up in UAT, to when it's signed up in demo, and in my last course, I had the most amazing answer. It never finishes. One of our software is running in production. That's my job is. So, yeah, mentality is changing.
Lee, is that a microphone?
Yeah.
Do you want to track it?
All right, this is cool. One common trend that I saw in your presentation was a lot about culture, more than technology.
Yes.
And that seems to be the big shift. So my question is, where do you see the culture now evolving?
So the next step after that for us really was going beyond dev things, was involving other stakeholders, senior management and product owners, to tell them why they should care about performance and reliability. So that was a really big step afterward. I think still have a lot to do at IG, but when my kind of ideal time is when everyone, one way or other, cares about reliability and performance, no matter what is their role.
Any more?
Hello.
Hey.
A lot of the talk was about cultural change on the dev side of things. Was there nothing on the operations side as well?
Yes, there was a lot on operations side. So from perspective of ruling people that you have to do it this way, the way we want, we turn to understanding what are their pains and actually seeing the work from their perspective and realizing that what was missing was a supporting ecosystem. So I think the both sides took steps closer to each other, and that what really made the difference.
Time for one more? Anybody else?
Yeah, so you talked about how you did financial services have compliance and so on.
Yep.
How did you convince them to let you give developers more ownership?
So I'll give you one example, and that's about deployment. So they're very, very strict about devs not being able to get anywhere close to production. So that was segregation of duties. So we had to go back to them and put the question forward to them. Why? Why do you have this rule? Why do you want to separate them? And then after a long conversation, we realized that if we met certain criteria for them, they wouldn't mind. So what we did was we made our change request management more stronger. So every deploy has to have a change request management, which needs to be approved by a business owner and also a technical owner. And as long as that change is audited and approved, no one cares who pushes the button. Is it operation or is it dead? That's how we solve that.
Excellent. Ahmed, thank you
There
very
was
much.
one question I want to come back to.
Yeah, go on.
You asked about numbers.
Yeah.
So practically you ruined my plan because I was hoping no one will remember
sorry.
that question.
I just
I
thought
thought about it
in
myself as well.
context.
So that was to prove the point about attention span.
Okay.
Yeah.
We all had a question at the beginning, but by the end of it, apart from you, forgot about it. Thanks.
No problem.
Both numbers are prime numbers, by the way.
Oh, very good. Thank you very much.
All the best. Thanks, Ahmed.